Hello everybody, in today's video is another average of 12 and I got 3 topics that are suggested from viewers on my last one. So we'll get to those in a second. I'm using the CamCuber Zanchi on this one. I think I'm going to stick with this cube for my averages because it just seems to be the one for me. I've never felt a cube quite like this before. And you know what's really weird is when I actually go to record these averages for you guys, I always, warm up first. I do some other averages before I actually start filming. And a lot of the time what happens, which is what happened today, is I get a better average during my warm-up and I should have been filming it. And so I think from now on I'm just going to have the camera on all the time and hopefully I can get some, way better ones for you guys in the future. The first topic comes from the Jacob1541 who wants to know what kind of music I listen to, and I picked this question because I get asked it a lot. More specifically, I get asked if I listen to music while I solve and if that music has an effect on my time. So I'm going to go through all those real quick. To answer Jacob's question, what kind of music I listen to, well, it varies. It really depends on my mood. Now, I know that he listens to metalcore, and I'm not exactly sure what metalcore is because there's screamo-core, metalcore, heavy metal, death metal, black metal. I mean, there's just so many genres. I just don't know how to categorize things. I'll give you some examples of the metal that I would listen to is like old school Slipknot, Fear Factory, Soulfly, Mudvayne, bands like that. In Flames is a huge one for me. I really, really like In Flames, some Meshuggah. But that's my metal side. I mean, I've kind of grown away from that and I've gone into other bands like A Perfect Circle and Pucifer where it's really talented musicians, but they're more relaxed and they're kind of just showing their skill. Look, I can do a different time signature with every limb of my body at the same time. That is more impressive to me than how fast somebody can play. However, they both give me two different feelings. And does that affect how I solve? Yeah, it totally affects how I solve. If I'm listening to old school Slipknot, I'm going to be more aggressive and I'll probably make a little bit more mistakes. Now, if I'm listening to Pucifer or something like that, where it's a lot more chill and it's got more of a groove to it, then I'm probably going to solve a little bit faster. And that's what I was listening to in the background of this actually was Pucifer. And I mute it because I can't have that copyrighted music coming through. Otherwise I could lose my partnership. So that's the kind of music I listen to. I wish I could elaborate more, but I got to move on. The next one comes from Supercube Nerd, who wants to know why we all have different mains. Like how come my main is affecting me more than it would affect you? And why does your main affect you more than it would affect me? It's the same Diane cube, but why am I not as good with yours that I am with mine? And the reason for that is actually really simple. It's because we're used to it. We learn to deal with the feeling of things. So like an example of this would be like, have you ever bounced on a trampoline for a while and you're bouncing on a trampoline, you're having real fun with your friends and all that kind of stuff. And then you get onto the ground and then you try to jump and you're jumping the same, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like you're only jumping an inch off the ground. It's a really weird feeling. And the reason for that is it's sort of the same as your main. I mean, like you get used to the way your body reacts in a certain situation or in a certain feeling. You know what I mean? So when you get off that trampoline, you're still expecting to be able to jump really high and you're not, and so like that little bit makes you feel a little uncomfortable. And that's the same thing with mains. I mean, you get used to it. I could go back to a Rubik's brand cube and use that. And I could probably start getting, pretty decent times with it because I'll start getting used to it. And then if I went back to my, CamCuber Zanchi, it would probably seem a little too fast for me now, and I would have to actually take some time to get used to it. And that's why we have different mains. It's just because you've taken the time to get used to it. And whatever cube is, better for you, whatever feels the best for you should be your main. You're going to get the time for that. It doesn't matter what brand it is, as long as you like it. So that's why we have different main cubes. The next topic comes from Badabing47 who wants to know my views on supporting smaller YouTube channels. Now I'm going to talk about my dual commentaries here and why I do them, because that is how I support people. And the reason I pick the people I do is because they've already done the work themselves. Now I started off with Red KB because I wanted to just kind of, hey guys, check this video out. This is going to be a new series, and it worked out really well. The people after that I picked, like Super Antonio Vivaldi, the guy is really inspirational. He can solve anything. And not only that, but he shows puzzles nobody else would show. It's just a really interesting channel. Like the Algorithmist, she's a really positive person, helps everybody out. I mean, like, no, I haven't seen somebody be so much involved as she is. I mean, She's made a name for herself. All these people I want to pick have done the work first. I'm not just going to go in and do the work for people. Every time I do one of these things, I get flooded with personal messages of people wanting them, and they don't even have any videos. It just doesn't make sense, you know? So if you want to be supported on my channel, I am all for it, but you got to be able to do the work yourself first. And that's my views on it. So anyways, guys, I would really like your feedback if you liked me talking about viewer topics, and if you want yours talked about or possibly picked, I mean, please write it down below and we'll talk about it next time. So let's go on and take a look at the times of this average. So you can see my best time is 16.45, and I'm usually getting 15s and 16s in my solve times now, and my worst time is 22.33, which is totally expected because I'm not it's very rare that I get a sub 20, you know, every single solve of my average 12 is sub 20, and overall my average is 19.16. My best average of 5 is 17.92, and that's pretty much all average for me. I'm starting to get faster slowly, so I'm sure the more averages that I do, you know, you guys will see my progress. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.